Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:36, and Aerosmith with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Going to be sunny today and breezy with a high of 50. Tomorrow, could see some snow in the forecast. It's that time of year, I guess.
Yeah, we're barely hanging on.
Snow in the morning and then rain by the afternoon, high of 48. It's 44 right now in downtown Springfield.
Let me tell you something. If you haven't won anything in Rock 102 in the last 30 days, today is the day to break that streak.
Oh, we got lots of stuff to give away.
We not only have tickets to the Chicago Total Access Show at 52 Sumner, which is happening this weekend, but also tickets to the Brimfield Brewfest on April 12th. And if that don't grab you, tickets to the Not the Worst Comedy Show Ever with Steve Nagle at the Munich House.
Now, how about that?
That is a whole big pile of stuff to give away.
That's a lot of stuff to give away, and we'll get to all of it coming up.
Plus a round of Am I the A-Hole, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
It's 5:37 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
You hear that? It's back. The Rock
102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:52 and Rush with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
It is going to be nice and sunny today, but breezy, high of 50. Tomorrow, could see a mix of snow and rain with a high of 48. It is 44 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Well, there are women who want Mr. Clean to be their daddy.
Mr. Clean.
Yeah, but Drew Barrymore is not one of them. Thank God.
Well, thank goodness she's standing out.
On her show yesterday, Drew was discussing a recent poll that said more than half of Americans get turned on watching their partner do household chores. And Drew's sidekick, Ross Matthews, said, quote, "There's a reason Mr. Clean is so hot, okay?" But Drew wasn't having it. She said, "I've wondered why they have fetishized Mr. Clean. It's like he's pumped and ready for action, and I feel uncomfortable when I see him because he's so sexual."
You know, for those of us that carry an enormous animal magnetism with them wherever they go, it's a burden. It's a big responsibility.
What, to look like Mr. Clean?
To have so much raw sexual energy.
You ever really look at Mr. Clean? I mean, yeah, he's bald, barrel-chested buff dude, but he's got, like, white eyebrows. And an earring?
I don't judge. All
right.
I know is that guy has never had a stain on them white pants or on that white shirt. I can't wear a single shirt without some kind of stain on it.
Yeah, I know. I still got stuff from last week on this one. It just doesn't come out in the wash. I don't know how to get it out.
You got to shout it out. You need Mr. Clean.
See, this is what I'm saying. I need a Mr. Clean.
I bet you'd be aroused if you found him.
You know what? Somebody who could do all my laundry and do that, I wouldn't care what sex he was. She, whatever.
Totally.
Doesn't matter.
Totally worth finding something like that.
She added that there are commercials where he's, quote, mopping with a real swagger. Yeah, that Mr. Clean swagger. She doesn't want that, though. You know, I saw a thing with her, though. They went over to her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
She's got this bougie apartment in New York City.
Right.
The whole place was a mess.
That's why she's not impressed with a Mr. Clean.
I guess so.
Now, if she had, like, Oscar the Grouch or some sort of slob over there, like Oscar Madison or something,
yeah,
then she'd be all hot and bothered.
Body cam footage exists of police finding the bodies of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy back in February. Pictures were also taken, and there are people who want all of that material released.
No.
Yoshi Feaster is not one of them, and she may have a legal claim because she was Gene's mother-in-law. Yes, 95-year-old Gene Hackman had a mother-in-law.
Well, his wife was a hell of a lot younger.
Right, yeah, Betsy was only 65. Yoshi is her mother. She's 91, and she'd like to keep pictures and video of the bodies under wraps so she can grieve in peace. In legal documents, she says she has, quote, a constitutional right to avoid seeing images of my daughter's home, her dead body, her husband's dead body, and their dog's corpse. A New Mexico judge ruled yesterday that photo and video from the scene can be released, but any images of Gene and Betsy cannot. They have to either be blurred out or edited.
Has it been ruled out? Has a crime scene been ruled out here?
Yes,
Well,
I
then
thought
there's
they
absolutely
came
no reason to release this then.
because they came to the conclusion that he was suffering from dementia. She was his caretaker. Something happened. There was an accident, and it made sense when you finally heard the explanation of what happened.
Right.
Which
means there's absolutely no reason for this stuff to be public.
Why do people want to see this stuff?
Because they want some sort of conspiracy to hang on to.
I guess so. Christmas came early for Looney Tunes fans yesterday. That's because Coyote vs. Acme movie is coming out after all. Wow.
Oh, boy.
So soon? Warner Brothers spent $70 million making the movie, in which Wile E. Coyote finally sues the Acme company over many faulty products that hindered his attempts to capture the Roadrunner. But they've shelved it as part of a write-off. But they had to change a heart and sold it to a company called Ketchup Entertainment, which is going to put it in theaters, no word when. The movie is a mix of animation and live action, and it'll also star Will Forte and John Cena, which means it's going to suck. Anytime they do a live action cartoon thing.
Yeah. Especially since, it's not like they're looking to, reimagine the quality of the original cartoons.
Yeah.
There's no way to do that with real action.
No, there isn't. I don't know. I remember Space Jam?
I sure do.
That was a horrible movie.
Sucked. Terrible.
Made Michael Jordan a lot of money.
Everything that had Michael Jordan's name on it made a lot of money.
Yeah. John Boyega has never been afraid to share his feelings about a black character in the Star Wars universe and how some of the fans treated him. And he does it again in an Apple TV Plus documentary called Number One on the Call Sheet, Black Leading Men in Hollywood. He says, quote, Star Wars had always had the vibe of being the most whitest elite space. It's a franchise that's so white that a black person existing in it was something else. He adds, they're okay with us playing the best friend, but once we touch their heroes, once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, that's too much. They're pandering. But Boyega does admit being cast in the new trilogy as was fundamental for a moment in his career.
Wasn't James Earl Jones a black man?
When did you see him?
Dude, did you heard him? You heard his voice.
That's all you heard, though.
That's all I needed out of James Earl Jones.
What? All you need to hear is his voice, and that's it?
Instantly recognizable.
Did you
Brought
know
total
it was
credibility to Darth Vader?
Did you know it was James Earl Jones when you first saw the movie?
Immediately.
I don't think you did.
I did.
You knew it was. Oh, that's James Earl Jones.
Yes.
That's the guy that's going to eventually voice Simba.
And many other things.
He's also going to be in that other movie. And that other movie.
And that other movie.
I'm just trying to pander till we get to the end of the Hollywood Trash theme song.
No, I hear you.
Lincoln Park is having trouble selling tickets. They're offering $40 tickets to all of their U.S. shows. In a world where people are, charging $500 to $1,000 for a ticket, Lincoln Park, we'll do it for $40.
We'll pay you $40 to come see us play.
What does that say about you when you get to that? All these other bands from the 90s and 2000s are selling tickets at $500 a piece, but you can only sell yours for $40.
People got a budget. It's not like you can spend $100 on every ticket you want to go to.
Kim Kardashian went and got her stretch marks removed over the weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure had something to say.
Oh, my God. The last time I had a stretch mark was when Ray J used his Winky the milk-spitting tunnel ferret to slap my loose-handled peach bucket in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95. James Naismith would be proud. Double dunk.
Caitlin?
I never got that done and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but I once visited the pearly panty gates. I undercut the snapper socket.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is I had a cockroach in the chuff box. Did you ever have a cockroach in the chuff?
Not in the chuff box, no.
That's where you get panty raid to get rid of them. And that's your Hollywood Trash on Rock 102. Ugh.
13 in Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
It is going to be mostly sunny today, but breezy, high of 50. Tomorrow, a mix of snow and rain with a high of 48. It's 44 right now in downtown Springfield. Next hour, we're not going to do Am I the A-Hole. We have a guest.
We do?
Yeah. It's Dave Coombs. He's coming into.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
April Fool!
Oh,
you see what I did there?
Yeah, April Fools. You know, this
I
company
thought
is,
that was an April. That was a 6-month-long April Fool's joke.
you know, interestingly enough, this company has a very long-standing policy of no April Fool's jokes on the air.
Which, by the way, I didn't see any notice come out. Usually there's a notice like a week before going, you better not do anything because it's going to look bad. Because they're worried about getting sued if we did something to prank somebody.
Well, as it turns out, many years ago, there was somebody in this company that may or may not have caused
bodily injury.
No, not bodily injury, but like a widespread public panic. And at that point, they said, maybe we should not do that anymore.
Maybe I just did that by saying Dave Coombs was coming on the show.
Yeah, well,
people are like, somebody just drove off the road.
There are some people that would.
Yeah.
But no, he's very busy, and he's not going to be joining us. And, yeah, there's no April Fool's jokes coming from this radio station. Maybe some others, but can you trust any of them? Are they really trustworthy enough to give you accurate information?
I don't
At least when we give you wrong information, it doesn't necessarily have to be just on April 1st. We'll give it to you 12 months out of the year.
Right? Well, we'll prank you every day.
Yes.
Well, there are companies out there that, have done these stupid pranks over the years. I'm thinking the one, and I did a video about this the other day about breast milk ice cream. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's real. I think it's supposedly a breast pump company called Frigga. In order to probably boost sales. Mm-hmm. And to let people know they exist, they claimed that they were going to be releasing some breast milk ice cream, which I don't think is real.
Well, it does freeze well.
Well, yeah, I know. Listen. I used to have. I had a whole deep freezer full of it.
I think I did too.
Yeah,
had a bunch of little bags all tied up and ready to go.
Little colostrum crunch.
Yeah, sounds delicious.
Yeah, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's real because it's Again, it's just drumming up. They're trying to drum up talk about the company is when they do these things. There's our list online of the best and worst April Fool's Day pranks by companies in recent years. Here's 20 of them.
Oh, good.
All right, you ready? We got plenty of time.
Yeah, well, just rip off as many as you can.
If we don't have to go through all 20 of them. In 2015, Amazon reverted its homepage to look and feel of the page on April 1st, 1999. It was a major difference.
Wow. Can you imagine everyone's shock and amazement?
Yeah, when the prices were not the same as they were back in 1999 when they were just selling books.
Now, if you really wanted, if Jeff Bezos really wanted to do an April Fool's joke, nothing but books.
Yeah, that would be funny.
You can't buy anything else but books.
In 2015, Redbox, do you remember that company?
I do.
They announced the debut of Petbox with entertainment for pets. Oh, so funny.
That's great.
In 2015, when you clicked a Google Maps link, you started playing the arcade game Pac-Man on real city streets. That was actually kind of fun. That's a fun thing to do. But I wouldn't even say that's a prank. That's just adding Pac-Man to your Google Maps.
That's it.
In 2015, Samsung introduced the world's first smart knife, the Galaxy Blade Edge. It was a knife with smartphone capabilities and was hyped as the ultimate cooking companion. Oh, man.
Hilarious.
In 2017, Hulu poked fun at our ever-shortening attention spans by launching a new service called Who that only shows 8-second versions of shows. That's actually kind of funny.
That's good. All these other ones, so the Amazon changing, that's big whoop.
In 2017, Burger King launched Whopper-flavored toothpaste, taking the iconic flavor of the Whopper and combining it with active ingredients for optimal teeth and gum hygiene. Okay, maybe. Again, it's fake. It didn't happen.
Who wouldn't want their teeth flame broiled?
In 2017, the high-end audio company Master & Dynamic announced the launch of the MH40C1 concrete over-ear headphones made of solid concrete, retailing for $399. Well, I remember, I don't even think it was an April Fool's prank. Payless Shoes back in the day held this conference, held this display in some gallery in New York City where they didn't call themselves Payless. They called themselves some bougie company, even though they were Payless shoes for like $29.99. They were selling them for like thousands of dollars, and you had all these stupid snobs going in there going, I love the way these things are made, and blah, blah, blah. And then they told them at the end, like, yeah, they're Payless shoes. You can get them for $30.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And thinking that's awesome. It's all a matter of what you think of the name.
And then the joke's on them because now they're out of business. Which I don't understand why a company like that would go completely defunct. Think about, you're selling shoes that everybody needs at a discount price. Not everybody can afford Nikes and Reeboks and
well, there may have been other
stuff.
contributing factors as to why that company fell apart.
Yeah, but you think somebody would have picked it up. But anyway, in 2017, Duolingo launched a new course to help people become fluent in the complicated language of emoji. Ugh. Bush's Beans launched its newest bean variety, jelly beans.
Okay.
Coke announced a new variety with a small shot of helium that creates a squeaky, high-pitched effect on the drinker's voice. How do people even take that seriously?
They don't.
Yeah.
They do, and it's happening on April 1st. Shame on you.
In 2017, there was coffee-flavored Coffee Mate, the perfect way to transform your everyday cup with a creamy roast coffee taste. Kind of defeats the purpose.
I know that seems redundant, but I would try that.
Yeah.
Can't be any worse than regular Coffee Mate.
Well, no, but I mean, you think about those creamers that they, like the liquid creamers that they have, peppermint and Snickers and all that stuff. If you didn't want coffee, you could just pour that into some milk and make yourself a coffee. I guess you could get some of that crappy syrup that they sell in Rhode Island, though, to do that.
Come on now. That stuff's delicious.
In 2017, Fresh Direct hyped pitless avocados. That might not be a joke someday. Yeah, I mean, how many years did it take to get the seedless watermelon? Which I still don't understand how that works.
It's all genetically modified.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they? Yeah, you're absolutely right. They could do probably the same thing with an avocado.
Cocktail avocados may become a thing.
Actually, I could see it.
Yeah. And in 2019, Tinder added height verification to their app. So a company actually tried to do something honest.
Right.
As a joke.
Because because otherwise it would never fly.
But here's ones that missed I know we only have a minute or two here. Some that missed the mark. In 1996, Taco Bell announced its purchase of the historic Liberty Bell and their plans to rename it the Taco Liberty Bell as a move to help reduce the national debt, but people took it seriously and protested the commercialization of a national treasure. I guess. I didn't get upset about that.
Well, it didn't matter to me.
In 2001, a Hooters restaurant in Florida held a Win a Toyota. Turned out to be a Toyota Star Wars figure. The winner sued them and eventually received a settlement that allowed her to buy the car. In 2016, Google introduced a mic drop feature in email, which sent emails with an animated GIF of a minion dropping a microphone, but the feature also messed up email threads, preventing further replies and generating backlash. In 2018, Elon Musk announced that Tesla had gone completely and totally bankrupt, causing a dip in the company's stock price. Was that foreshadowing, or was that just... Yeah.
I bet that seemed like a joke at the time.
In 2021, Volkswagen introduced a press release claiming it would rebrand U.S. operations to Volkswagen, highlighting its commitment to electric vehicles. It was believable, so people reported it on it as truth, and it fell flat, and it led to a SEC probe.
Yeah. See, this is why we don't do them anymore. We're done.
Yeah, they took the fun out of it.
Listen, corporate America is taking the fun out of everything.
Yeah, what radio show has ever done a prank that has not elevated them to another national platform? Remember those two guys in Boston who claimed that the mayor of Boston had died in a car accident, which was not true.
Right. And they got a better job as a result of it.
Yeah,
of course, now they're not really doing all that hot, but that's neither here nor there.
You know what? You can do things to elevate your career.
It's 6:23 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
If you're looking...
It's 6:25 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Dan Brown has the full forecast for you.
Join Pat Kelly and the Road Crew along with Coors Light and Miller Lite at Tap Sports Bar at MGM on Saturday from 6 to 8 to watch the round of 4 games that are being played right there at Tap. Pat and the Road Crew will have your chance to win some pretty cool prizes. It's Saturday at Tap at MGM, 6 to 8 with Pat Kelly from Coors Light, Miller Lite, and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Here's some harmless pranks you can pull on people.
Mm-hmm.
These were from the internet. I once changed my wife's birthday on Facebook to April 1st. She spent all day confused as to why she was getting happy birthday messages. Oh, that's so funny.
That's so great that you logged into your wife's account.
Yeah, but how many people? I mean, it's his wife. He probably has access to the phone. It was probably already logged in.
Probably.
And he probably changed the birthday.
Or they're like one of those couples where both people are on the same account.
Oh, the shared Facebook page?
Yeah, like the couple that doesn't trust each other.
Yeah, that always says, which one of you cheated on the other one?
Or which one of you has the most threat of cheating?
That's actually a good topic.
Yeah.
You know, who's got a shared Facebook page out there?
I know quite a few.
Who doesn't trust somebody, another person has to have a joint named Facebook?
There's something a little untrustworthy about that. Like someone's not trusting the other, and I don't know who.
What are you talking about? All their pictures show them happy people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because there's so many people showing miserable pictures of each other.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's some girl going, "Who is that lady you were talking to?"
Nobody, I swear to God. My sister.
Yeah, it's my sister. Hey, do you want to laugh?
I want to laugh,
Let's
Steve.
laugh.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
A doctor told a man that taking care of yourself before sex often helps you last longer in the act, right?
Sure.
So the guy goes, what the hell, I'll try it. He spent the rest of the day thinking about where to do it. Couldn't do it in his office. He thought about the restroom, but that was too open.
Right.
And he considered an alleyway, but figured that was too unsafe. You run the risk of exposing yourself to people.
What about an ice cream shop in Enfield?
Yeah, well, or a Target parking lot. There is kind of like a trend down there in that Connecticut, Windsor, Enfield area of people doing that to
The
themselves.
horniest town in New England.
Finally, he realized his solution on his way home. He pulls over his truck on the side of the highway. He gets out, crawls underneath as if he's working to fix it or something. And he's satisfied with the privacy. He undid his pants, and he started to go to town on himself. And he closed his eyes, and he thought of his wife. And as he grew closer to finishing, he feels a quick tug at the bottom of his pants, and not wanting to lose, the mental fantasy to completion. He kept his eyes shut and replied, "What?" And he heard, "This is the police. What's going on down there?" And the guy goes, "I'm checking out the rear axle. It's busted." And the cop goes, "Well, you might as well check your brakes, too, while you're down there, because your truck just rolled down the hill about 5 minutes ago." He might as well have been eating ice cream.
I know, kidding.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Here's your Western
6:31 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by the law offices of Mark E. Salamone. Injured? Tell the insurance company you mean business. Call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1 right now. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
I like how you did that. And that, what was that actor's name?
Robert Vaughn.
Oh, he's dead now.
Yeah, I could be the next Robert Vaughn.
But you did it in the same style as all the other actors that have done that role.
I'll tell you what, I would love to pick up that gig. That's a good side piece right there, working for doing commercials for Mark E. Salamone.
Like where you choke on a sandwich when you mention his name.
I don't have to because I'm not being sued by the law offices of Mark E. Salamone.
Well, I mean, maybe that can happen in the Karen Reed case. She hires Marquis Salamone. Oh, we hired Marquis Salamone, and the prosecution goes, "Whoa, we're dropping the charges."
State police are trembling in their boots.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God.
Tell the state police you mean business.
Tell the state police, I want to see your text thread. See what'd you write on there? What'd you write on that text thread? No ass. Well, she certainly has somewhat of an ass. That's not true.
Yeah, well, she's drank her ass off before, that's for sure.
A Springfield man has been charged in a hit and run that resulted in the death of a cyclist on Parker Street. According to the Hamden DA's office, 46-year-old Carlos Reyes of Springfield was arraigned Monday afternoon in Springfield District Court. He was arraigned on a charge of leaving the scene of a motor vehicle collision resulting in death. He's currently held on $250,000 bail and is scheduled to return to court for a bail hearing on April 29th. The charges stem from an incident that occurred last Thursday at the intersection of Parker Street and Verge Street. According to Springfield Police, a vehicle struck 30-year-old Aronde Odom, who was walking his bicycle across the street at the time. Responding officers located Odom on the ground with deadly injuries and found a vehicle nearby with a bicycle tire lodged under the driver's side. The driver of the vehicle had left the scene before authorities arrived. On Friday, Reyes turned himself in to the Springfield Police. At the time of his surrender, police discovered that he had an active warrant out of Palmer District Court. He was taken into custody and charged in connection with Thursday's crash. The case is being investigated by the Springfield Police's Homicide Unit, and in collaboration with the Hamden DA's office, District Attorney Anthony Gallooni has offered condolences to the victims' loved ones. Sheriffs from across the Commonwealth met at the State House on Monday to continue discussions about opportunities for consolidation and collaboration with the state's correctional system. Hamden County Sheriff's Nick Cochee is the vice president of the Mass Sheriffs Association. He spoke at the meeting, repeating a similar refrain to previous meetings, saying incarcerated people must receive professional help for any mental health issues before any other issues, including criminal activity, can be addressed. He then got in his Uber and took us back to the Hamden County.
What? Come on now. Come on.
What?
Come on.
Just
Come
say
on.
it. Come on.
I'm sure he got a ride from somebody else.
Sheriff Cochee noted that re-entry to society after serving time is a hot topic across the country, and that Massachusetts had been honing re-entry services for nearly 3 decades, but there's still work to do.
Now, he's right about that. And actually, these are programs that were put into place by Michael Ash and then continued by Nick Cochee over the years. And, for all the people who say, well, yeah, but there's still so much crime here. That's not on the sheriff's department, and that's not on the jail and all the rehabilitation they do. That's really on the judges.
Yeah.
Where, people are, coming out of jail, going back into criminal activity. It's one of the frustrations that I'm sure all the sheriffs in the state feel because of how the system works. And so, when you really look at what the sheriff's department does in Hamden County, it's actually really pretty impressive what they are able to do, especially as they try to get people back into transitioning back into society again.
Well, it's not just a jail. Like, there's other things going on there.
It's like an amusement park.
As you're saying, there's so many programs that go on that you don't hear about. Usually when you hear about the Hamden County Sheriff's Department, it's like some guy was arrested over the weekend and taken to the Hamden County Jail, and that's the end of the story. But there's other things that go on there.
Yeah, like a guy who's getting out of jail who needs to find work, and the Sheriff's Department is helping him find work. That happens all the time. There's lots of employers that are hiring people through programs that are spearheaded by the Sheriff's Department.
You could be a chauffeur for the sheriff.
You could be. Lots of opportunities.
A Granby man was arrested on 7 charges, including threatening to commit murder following an incident on Saturday. Northwestern DA spokesperson Lori Loisel said that on Saturday, 43-year-old Matthew Tarzinski allegedly threatened 2 individuals napping in a car in the parking lot of his apartment complex on New Ludlow Road. Tarzinski allegedly brandished what appeared to be a gun at the victims and called one of them a racial slur. The victims in the vehicle proceeded to call 911 and go to the police station, showing officers a video on their cell phone that was taken during the incident. Tarzinski was then arrested, and police later executed a search warrant for his apartment. Officers found drugs and 2 BB pistols. Matthew Tarzinski was charged with 2 counts of threatening to commit murder and assault to intimidate, 1 count of assault to intimidate, trafficking cocaine, possession of a Class C drug with intent to distribute. Tarzinski pleaded not guilty to the charges on Monday in Eastern Hampshire District Court in Belchertown. He was ordered held without bail pending a dangerousness hearing scheduled for April 3rd.
Now,
there's a whole lot going on here.
There's a lot going on here. Now, this guy just had minded his own business. 2 guys trying to take a nap in a car in the parking lot. If he minded his own business, there wouldn't be cops going through his apartment finding all that coke he had.
Now, I'm not commenting specifically on this case, But you know how they say people who are dealing with cocaine tend to be, you tend to sample what you got going on there.
Sure.
So that could have brought a lot of paranoia, to which he then went out to the parking lot and go, oh, man, these guys are out there watching me. I'm going to go take care of them. Thus bringing attention to himself, and then them going to his apartment after he threatens these guys, and then getting arrested for his own criminal activity.
Again, this should be part of the curriculum of the Steve Nagle College of Criminal Knowledge. If he had been a participant in any of any of those classes, he would have known. If you've got drugs in the house, shut up.
Yeah, stop bringing attention to yourself.
It's the last thing you want to do. If you're a law-abiding citizen with nothing to hide, that's the time to show everybody who you are. But if you got something to hide and it's in your apartment, on the coffee table, on a mirror next to all those rolled up dollar bills and that razor blade, maybe that's the time to kind of, I don't know, keep to yourself.
Karen Reed will be back in the courtroom this morning to be tried for murder for a second time after the jury couldn't come to a verdict in the first trial. Tuesday begins jury selection in Karen Reed's second trial, but that task may be a little more difficult than expected. She's on trial for the alleged murder of her boyfriend and Boston police officer John O'Keefe, who was found dead in the snow back in 2022. She's accused of backing into O'Keefe with her car before leaving him to die in the snow at the home of another Boston police officer in Canton after a night out with friends, but her defense team alleges she's being framed in a wide-scale law enforcement cover-up. Normally, when choosing jurors, a judge will ask questions to make sure potential jurors are free of bias and will remain fair and impartial. Last time, it took 4 days to pick the 12 jurors. This case has garnered widespread attention across the country with a docuseries, Dateline episodes, the Free Karen Reed movement. So finding a panel of impartial jurors will probably be easier said than done. The second trial is expected to take at least 5 weeks, but that does not include jury selection, which may take several weeks itself.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You
I told you I
imagine?
wouldn't be a good juror.
No.
Somebody said on the Route 10 Tire listener line here yesterday, I don't even know what I said. Hey, you guys have been listening every day, been listening for many years. Quick question. I didn't realize that Steve is that informed on the Karen Reed case. That was just a dumb comment he made this morning. Do better.
Which comment did you make?
I don't know, but, I've been saying all along that, my take on it. And I haven't watched the trial.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on the jury.
Right.
And
Did you watch the documentary?
I did watch I watched the Dateline special, the 2020 special, and I watched the documentary on HBO, The Body in the Snow. And I don't know what comment it was. I just, the way she kind of holds herself and the way she presents herself, it just doesn't. The more you watch that documentary, the more you realize like she really kind of didn't care about this guy.
Yeah, well, you can't judge a book by its cover.
No, you certainly can't.
And if you go through the facts of the case or the evidence that's being presented, it's possible that she may have been responsible for this guy's death.
Yeah.
But there's so much reasonable doubt as to everybody else involved that when a defense attorney says, hey, there may be a conspiracy, well, there might actually be a conspiracy.
I said, this is why I wouldn't be a good juror, because as soon as she opened her mouth and started talking, that's when I'm like, all right, she's guilty. Oh, my God, Johnny, did I hit you in the snow?
Steve, I have spent more than my fair time in the great city of Fall River, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Rehoboth is really not that far of a drive to Fall River, really. And, just because someone sounds like an idiot doesn't necessarily mean it is so. And sometimes the accent and the cadence of the voice used amongst people in that city does not necessarily mean they're all idiots. They just sound that way.
This is why I couldn't be an impartial juror. What did it for you, sir? It was that Fall River slam pig mouth that she had. She was trying to bang all his friends.
Anna.
Yeah.
I was in the bar for several hours drinking beers with my boyfriend.
And I get it. I get that there are circumstances, with there's all this science and all this stuff that they're throwing out there. But when you're presented with the voicemails that she left the guy right after she dropped him off, and
he wasn't picking up the phone.
I know, but he was a little incapacitated.
She wasn't answering her very important phone calls at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
But the other thing is, her story changed a bunch of different times. Now and I also said this that two things can be true. All of those people involved, and the ones in the house, and her, are all kind of pieces of garbage. Like, they're not the most upstanding citizens that you'd would run into.
But you know what else is true?
Yeah.
and you can, I'm sure you could probably answer to this. Have you ever been drinking and something happens and, it seems like a pretty good story?
Yeah.
But you were drunk, so a lot of the details are a little
shady,
a little
fuzzy,
hazy, and the following day, people say, hey, what'd you do over the weekend? You're not going to believe what I did over the weekend. Here's my story.
Yeah.
And it's vastly different every time they tell it because it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger because you're trying to make a better story. It's possible that because they were so drunk for so long and there was so much alcohol involved here that the story changes because they were drunk.
Right, because you have hazy recollections of what happened that night.
Anytime that I've been roundhouse blasted, I never stopped for a moment to thought, I should take some notes. I want to make sure I got all the details right.
Yeah, I've never...
I've never been so sober while I'm drunk that I thought, does anyone have a pen?
Yeah, where's the get the video camera out. Let's start recording this.
We're gonna need to document some of this.
Actually, there are people who have videotaped their behaviors while they were intoxicated,
and it's almost always a mistake. But I'm just saying, in a situation like this, I want to make sure I want to dot my I's and cross my T's.
But again, I don't think she's going to be convicted of anything because there's so much reasonable doubt being presented.
There is.
You're going to have a hard time, as we just read, that to pick a jury for this thing because so many people know about it now. It's not like, and
the thing is, there will be enough to appeal. There may be enough to appeal this too.
Oh, I'm sure.
If she's convicted, she could appeal it. First of all, 5 weeks of a second trial seems to be really excessive.
But there's so much information that is being shared by the defense and the prosecution. There's like newfound evidence, and there was this. Now this is what I don't get. How come in the first trial they're talking about these like Apple Watches and the elevation, and then they're trying to prove that he was in the house and all this other stuff? How come that wasn't put out the first time? Is it just newly discovered information?
It could be, but it also could have been left out intentionally
because it wasn't going to fit somebody's narrative.
It wasn't going to fit a narrative. It wasn't going to help their case.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is just listen. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I'm only going off of what I was shown on TV. And stop telling me to do my research because ain't nobody got time for that.
You did enough research in the fact that you've been drunk before.
Yes, I'm an experienced drunk.
Yes, you know what you're talking about.
This is why I didn't believe her when she said, I don't black out. That's the very definition of a blackout. You don't remember anything.
Never blacked out a day in my life as far as I know.
Sure, it's witness intimidation, but I'm the one on trial for murder. Anywho, it's way late now. It's going to be sunny and breezy today with a high of 50. Tomorrow, mix of snow and rain with a high of 48. It's 44 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
It's 6:54 in Kansas with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be breezy today with a high of 50, but sunny. Tomorrow, snow and rain mixed in together. Snow early in the morning and then Rain by the afternoon, high of 48. It is 44 right now in downtown Springfield.
We recently had the folks from 52 Sumner come into the studio, talk about some of the shows they've got booked for this for the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. Great lineup of stuff, including this weekend, April 5th. The Chicago Total Access Show is going to be there, 52 Sumner Avenue in Springfield. We have tickets to that show. Pair of tickets right now. 10th caller 293-1021. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Great place to see a show.
Hells yeah.
Hell yes.
It actually is a really nice venue, the way they remodeled that whole church in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it could be a church on a Sunday, but then it transforms into a super hot nightclub.
Yeah, and what church wouldn't like a good rock and roll show in the middle of it?
And then the spirits being served are like old Granddad and Jim Beam and
right.
all the other good stuff,
right.
Vodka and whatever. Not. Yeah, see?
And unlike an actual church, you're not all drinking from the same cup.
No, and they have better snacks than the church does.
More variety.
Yeah, well, those little wafers, those are not very tasty at all.
No. Those communion wafers would be great with like a dip, but
I'm not besmirching the symbolism of them. I'm just saying.
I mean, well, it is the Lenten season, but nevertheless.
You think that's what they served at the Last Supper? Those little wafers?
No, I'm sure they got like a blooming onion, maybe some jalapeno poppers.
Yeah, right. What, cheeseburger egg rolls from the Applebee's.
Ooh, fried pickles for everybody
here,
waiter.
Everybody. I think we're gonna need. Give me some of that Roman garlic bread too.
Good luck on Rock 102.
Bax and Nagle. And now, Bax's View from the Couch. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, I don't know how to tell you this, but there are only 7 games left in the Boston Celtics regular season schedule. 7. That includes games against Miami, Phoenix, and Washington, followed by the Knicks, Orlando, and 2 against Charlotte. Only the Knicks, Miami, and Orlando have a chance in hell of making the playoffs. The rest of those left in the schedule are straight up garbage. You either have been eliminated from the playoffs or they're really close to getting there. Why am I telling you this? Because last night after the Celtics pounded the living bejesus out of the Memphis Grizzlies, 117-103, they became the first Celtics team in history to go undefeated during a 6-game road trip. They're also just 2 wins away from tying the NBA's all-time greatest away record. 2 remaining road games on the schedule are a week from tonight against the Knicks and then against Orlando next Wednesday. If they win those games, then they will have tied Golden State's record of 34 wins and 7 losses on the road. Of course, I should point out the Celtics have won their last 9 games, 17 out of their last 20, 25 out of the last 30. I would go on, but that would require more counting. My point is this. They don't have to face Cleveland. They don't have to face Oklahoma City. They don't have to face anybody that's any good, and they certainly don't have to face anybody with a better record because those are the only 2 teams that do. In other words, there's a lot of reasons to be feeling confident in the way things are going. Not that I'm going to jinx anything and predict another championship because that would be foolhardy and premature. But the Celtics are the hottest team in basketball right now, and there is no better way to head into the final few games of the season than with a 9-game winning streak. Are you kidding me? Things are looking so damn good for the Celtics. I'm this far away from actually giving a damn, and I think that really is saying something. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know how much Scott's 4-Step costs at those big giant mega stores? Or those big online stores? A lot more than it costs at your neighborhood Rocky's. Scott's 4-Step, $95 with your Rocky's Ace Rewards card. 4 steps to a beautiful lawn. Scott's 4-Step from Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. 102 Springfield's Classic Rock at 7:10 and Led Zeppelin with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Speaking of which, if you had tickets for that Get the Let Out show back in January that was rescheduled,
yeah,
it's being rescheduled till next Saturday, April 12th at Springfield Symphony Hall, and those tickets that you bought are still good for this show.
Oh, good to know.
So I just wanted to give you a little public service announcement before, because I'm not an a-hole, but am I the a-hole?
That's really not for me to.
Well, I'm not asking
say.
you. I'm just telling. What? You stop doing that. Just stop.
What?
Just
I'm not doing anything.
Stop doing that. Well, here's a. You know what? Why not a happy one? Right?
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Am I the a-hole for not letting my wife's affair partner go to her funeral?
You're right. That is a happy one.
My wife passed away. She was in a car accident. We separated for a few months, and this was due to her wanting to be with her affair partner. They had been together for about a year and a half. They told me they had genuinely been in love. The divorce has not been finalized, so legally speaking, I'm responsible for her body. We have 2 children, both of them in their teens. They've been a mess. I can't say I've been much better. At one point, I was so angry at my wife that I wanted her to get hurt. Now I find myself wishing she was still here with me and my kids. I've been making arrangements for the funeral, and the affair partner has reached out to me on social media. He's been asking if he could know if we were going to have a funeral or a memorial service or something. I told him to F off. I keep justifying this. I'm trying to keep my family from falling apart, and I've been dealing with the funeral costs. There's just so much I need to do, but I'd be lying if I said a part of me didn't wish for this guy to get hurt. Yeah, see... don't wish for anybody to get hurt.
No.
As much as, that was a crappy thing that happened to you.
Because, he's suffering too.
Yeah, he is. He ain't got no side piece no more.
I know.
Yeah.
He's going to have to find somebody else or go back to his wife.
Somebody said send him a text and say there will be grieving children there and you don't need any extra drama. That's actually not a bad idea.
Mm. Do the kids know who this guy is and what he represents?
See, I don't see. These are the details that this guy. Well, he's grieving. He's in brain fog right now. He just doesn't have the time to, say whether or not. Hey, by the way, kids, your mom was getting boned by this guy before she died. Is it okay if he comes to the funeral?
Children.
That means 2 things.
As we go through this very difficult time, I just want you to know that your mother, was a cheating hooer.
Yes.
But I hope you have good memories of her.
She would have wanted it this way. Somebody said go further and ask a friend to contact the affair partner to tell them that this engaged response of him trying to assure he will be respectful of the situation and the kids. Talk to the funeral home about security. How many funeral
security?
Who has security at a funeral home? I guess you could hire them.
Well, it is a little nervy for this guy to be going to the husband to find out what the funeral arrangements are, considering. Is there an obituary maybe that might have some of those details?
Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a private service. Some people have private services that don't open it to the public. So maybe it's one of those situations.
Yeah.
But... tough spot. This guy's in.
That's a sticky wicket.
I don't know. I don't know the situation. I don't know. Who was the a-hole here?
It seems to me there needs to be just a few more details involved to really make it a choice.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that the boyfriend would call the husband to find out what the arrangements are.
Hey!
It's got to be somebody else you can talk to.
Hey, you.
You.
What's going on? Guy?
Hey, I know things are kind of a little messy over there right now, but what exactly is the funeral?
Yeah, where can I send flowers? I used to send them to her work because you couldn't send them to your house.
Right, I know. It's a different time now.
Yeah, that's a sticky situation. Anyway, how about the next one?
Yes.
Am I the a-hole for being mad at my girlfriend because she fell asleep during sex? The title might sound bad, but just hear me out. I, 25 male, was staying the night at my 23-year-old girlfriend's house. We mostly just cuddled on the couch and ate popcorn while watching a scary movie. And after the movie ended, we went upstairs to her bedroom to participate in unholy activities. After I had wrapped himself up, if you know what I'm saying, she began,
doing stuff.
And after a while of that, we switched positions, and then she was on the bottom, and I'm on the top.
Yeah.
I kind of got lost in the moment, and when I snapped back to reality, I noticed that my girlfriend was completely dead to the world. Me, being surprised, woke her up gently, and when I did, she got very angry and lashed out at me, saying things like she hated me for waking her up, and she wanted me to go away. I just walked downstairs and slept on the couch to give her some space, and when I woke up at like 3 a.m., I saw her getting a drink of water, and I asked her if she was feeling better, and she screamed in fear at the top of her lungs and yelled at me, saying that when she told me to go away, she meant to leave the house entirely. So then she started rushing me out of her house, and I was super shocked and weirded out and tired and not wanting to drive all the way back home because I live like 2 hours away. But she was not kidding this time, so I grabbed all my stuff and drove to 2 hours back home. When I got home, it was around 5 or 6 a.m. I only got like 2 hours of sleep before I had to go to work, and when I woke up and started getting ready, I got a text from her asking where I was and why I had left. I was in so much shock and anger that I called her right away and told her everything that happened last night, and she said she had no idea what I was talking about. I could easily tell that she was gaslighting me and said, "We're done." I said, "We're done," and I hung up, and then she went on to text me some more saying, like, "Why did you break up with me? I'm so confused." I eventually just blocked her number and went on with my life. So am I the a-hole for breaking up with her over this? Well, no.
No, absolutely not.
You did the right thing by leaving and running.
I think you did yourself a big solid here.
And you know what? You're lucky you live 2 hours away from her.
If you lived closer or you were married to her
Yeah.
and you were dealing with this kind of abusive behavior, you'd be stuck. You'd be stuck.
Somebody says my significant other has parasomnia and can do some weird stuff and have complete conversations and have any idea what they did in the morning. For this reason, I avoid sex during certain times because I don't want this to happen. You're not the a-hole, but she may not be either.
All right, but you know what? Let her say that.
I would imagine that, I don't know how long this guy was seeing her for, but don't you think you'd kind of get to know that if she does have this condition, that you would have heard about this previously,
or
prior
maybe
to?
she would have warned you in advance because that would be the right thing to do?
Well, maybe she doesn't know. Somebody had to have told her if she's suffering from a condition like this, even if it wasn't involved in the lovemaking portion.
Right.
Somewhere along the lines of her growing up, somebody would have said, "Hey, did you know what you did last night? You got up and you started arguing with the whole family."
Whether that's true or untrue, no one should have to put up with that sort of abusive behavior.
Yeah.
So, no, you're not the a-hole.
She is.
She
She
is the
totally
a-hole,
is.
yes.
Yeah. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give up my seat to a pregnant woman because I had Taco Bell cramps and was already clenching for dear life?
Oh, haven't we all been there?
So I, 38 male, was riding the train home after crushing 2 Crunchwrap Supremes and a Baja Blast. About 10 minutes in, my stomach starts doing that Jurassic Park water pipe ripple thing, and I knew I was in danger. I'm sitting near the priority seating area when a clearly pregnant woman gets on and starts eyeing my seat. I make brief eye contact, give a polite nod, and then I double down on my butt cheeks like I'm guarding the nuclear codes. A few people start giving me dirty looks for not standing up, but I physically could not move. One shift and I'm repainting the entire seat of the train. She ends up muttering something under her breath and standing the whole ride. I feel bad, but also I'm not trying to deliver my own horror story on that train. But eventually you're going to have to get up.
And then she's going to grab your seat.
Yeah. So am I the a-hole for keeping the seat because I was one pelvic tremor away from a full Taco Bell exorcism?
I'm going to say the answer is, yeah, you're kind of being an a-hole. First of all, who grabs the Taco Bell and then goes on a train ride?
Yeah, that'd be something that you would have to give yourself at least an hour after eating. It's like swimming. Like you don't want to go swimming after eating lunch.
You'll get cramps.
Yeah. Wait at least 45 minutes for that to process.
Now, if I'm ever on a train or a bus and it's full and there's a pregnant lady or someone who's elderly and they're standing, I, being a kind-hearted, compassionate person, would offer my seat. But there are sometimes I don't want to get up. And at that point, I do everything I can not to make eye contact with that person. Does that make me an a-hole?
No, I don't think so.
No. Just makes me avoidant.
I don't understand. This guy's going to have to eventually get up. What is going to happen when he gets up? he's clenching on for his, what did he say, holding in the nuclear codes, as he put it.
Yeah. Well, he should have been if he's feeling those kinds of cramps and feels like he's going through this digestive process, he should already have been in the bathroom by now.
But he can't because he's on a train. It's not like there's bathrooms on a train.
There are bathrooms on a train.
On a commuter train?
All right, well, maybe not.
Yeah.
But if it was, this is like an Amtrak.
I see. This is the thing. This is why we need details. We need to know where, were you in business class? Were you in coach? Were you in
the club car?
Were you on an MTA? Were you on one of those green trolley things? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Because they don't have bathrooms for sure.
Yeah, a man could make the green line into the brown line in no time at all.
Well, if you've ever been in a subway station of a green line, the whole thing is a bathroom because it smells like one.
It certainly is a toilet.
One more?
Sure, why not?
Real quick. Let's see. Where was this? Where did I have it? Oh, am I the a-hole for not letting my neighbor's kid use my driveway to practice basketball because I like watching the squirrels eat Cheetos there?
Go on.
I, 46 male, live alone. That's telling. And have a nice wide driveway. I don't park in it. I just sit on my porch with a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos and toss them to the squirrels that live in the trees nearby. It's become my thing. They know me. One of them I've named Uncle Dave. We vibe.
Okay.
My neighbor has a 12-year-old son who recently got a basketball hoop for his birthday, but their driveway is too narrow for him to actually use it. They asked if he could come over and shoot around on mine since I don't use it for anything. I said no politely and explained that the squirrel Cheeto ritual that I have. They laughed, thinking I was joking, but I was not. Uncle Dave deserves peace. Now the mom is calling me a weirdo and told the HOA that I'm feeding wild animals and being creepy to children, which is just completely false. I'm just a man about his squirrels. So am I the a-hole for choosing Cheeto squirrels over a kid's hoop dreams? Well, first of all, you shouldn't have gotten a kid a basketball hoop if you didn't have the proper clearance to begin with.
Absolutely true.
But I think you're more of the a-hole for feeding flaming hot Cheetos to wild animals.
Well, I was just thinking the same thing. And then to be so passionate about the primary source of your entertainment is to watch rodents eat Cheetos.
I think this guy might have an alcohol problem, and I'll tell you why. Because my dad used to sit on the back porch and feed the squirrels while he was drinking all day long. That was his retirement plan.
That was it?
Yeah, he would sit on the back porch, and he'd have his bag of unshelled peanuts that he would leave out for the squirrels, and then they'd come right up to his feet and eat them.
Wow.
Yeah.
How interesting.
And then we had this squirrel problem that was going on.
Because they would eat the nuts.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, who's the a-hole in that situation?
I don't know. He never offered him a drink, though.
Oh, there you go.
This is my alcohol. This is not yours.
You're getting the beer nuts. That should be enough.
Yeah, you can't feed the squirrels Fireball, can you?
I don't know if they'll drink something like that.
I don't know. I think they're kind of equally the a-hole.
Yeah,
here.
maybe. You might be right about that.
Oh, there you go. There's a lackluster performance.
Lackluster. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was
lackluster.
It was okay. It wasn't
724 on Rock 102. It's 726 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown has the full forecast for you.
This week on Baxy's Musical Podcast, my guest is Eve Barsley, the lead singer and songwriter for the band Clem Snide. This is a band that started in Boston many years ago. They have just released their 10th album, Oh Smokey, or actually it's going to be released in May. And they're also coming to Somerville at the Warehouse on April 10th and at Con Artists in Southbury, Connecticut on the 11th. Great songwriter. One of the more underestimated songwriters of his generation. That is not just me saying that. There's a lot of other people who believe the very same thing. You can hear that interview on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the app. And it's all brought to you by Metro, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram of Chicopee and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Well, good news for guys who zone out when your wife says you don't listen. Here's your excuse. A new survey
Survey said
found that men literally can't hear as well as women. And
I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
I said a new study found men literally can't hear as well as women. And there's nothing you can do about it. It probably just comes down to anatomy. Scientists tested people's hearing in different countries around the world and found it's true everywhere. The average woman has a 2 decibel advantage and up to 6 decibels with some frequencies. That's a lot, but it's significant enough to make a difference. They think it might just come down to hormones or what? Or how ears develop in the womb. They think it's possible women's brains are better at processing sound, too, so when it comes to hearing, men might have worse ears and inferior brains. The study also found that regardless of gender, we all tend to hear out of our right ear a little bit better than our left. They're not sure why.
I don't know. I mean, I always thought that science proved that men's brains are bigger.
That doesn't mean anything.
It's science.
Yeah, I know, but just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's any more useful than...
I think my brain is mostly filled with like images of like the monkey washing a cat.
Yeah.
As opposed to anything that has any real practical use.
You got the little monkey with the Shriner hat just clashing the cymbals together inside.
How are you inside my head right now?
I know, right? I also think that this might just be like an excuse to say I really don't want to listen to you.
Yeah, maybe it's not so much that they can't hear you. Maybe it's they just don't care about what you're talking about.
Perhaps. I don't know.
And then I don't know if that's part of that survey, but it seems to me that might be a very important part of it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
You heard that?
I heard Richard Dawson.
Great stuff.
See?
It's 7:29. News is next on Rock 102. 7:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by the law offices of Mark E. Salamone. Tell the insurance company you mean business. Call 1-800-WIN-WIN-1 right now. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thank you, Bax. Traffic alert. Road hog. The city of East Hampton is forewarning residents about a road closure on Mountain Road today. Mountain Road will be closed from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on April 1st for essential water main repairs.
Why does this sound like an April Fool's gag?
It's not an April Fool's gag. It's actually very real. A detour will be in place, so it's being advised to avoid the area during these hours.
So if I go right up to Mountain Road, I'm not going to have somebody there say, April Fools, you can pass.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
All right.
For you. So just avoid East Mountain Road in East Hampton. And do they have a men at work sign up in East Hampton, or is it a ladies at work, or?
That is an excellent question. I'm going to say workers ahead.
Oh yeah, you got to be neutral about it.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, if you say men working, or you somehow genderize the profession.
Well, I mean, you could say broads doing stuff.
Well, that's why you can't even say broad daylight in East Hampton. It's a microaggression.
That's true. And then you'll have to take the job away from the guy who already got it. Sorry. We already gave this job to another woman.
If there were a radio station in East Hampton, we could not be broadcasters.
That's true.
Again, another microaggression.
A Granby man was arrested on 7 charges, including threatening to commit murder following an incident on Saturday. Northwestern DA spokesperson Lori Loisel said that on Saturday, 43-year-old Matthew Tarzinski allegedly threatened 2 individuals napping in a car in the parking lot of his apartment complex on New Ludlow Road. Tarzinski allegedly brandished what appeared to be a gun at the victims and called one of them a racial slur. The victims in the vehicle proceeded to call 911 and then go to the police station, showing officers a video on their cell phone that was taken during the incident. Tarzinski was then arrested, and police later executed a search warrant for his apartment. Officers found drugs and 2 BB pistols. Tarzinski was charged with 2 counts of threatening to commit murder and assault to intimidate, 1 count of assault to intimidate, trafficking cocaine, and possession of a Class C drug with intent to distribute. Tarzinski pleaded not guilty of the charges on Monday in Eastern Hampshire District Court in Belchertown. He was ordered held without bail pending a dangerousness hearing scheduled for April 3rd. Again, failed student of the Steve Nagle College of Criminal Knowledge. Had you had just kept your mouth shut and minded your own beeswax, you wouldn't have been in this situation.
People don't know how to mind their P's or Q's. I mean, if this guy had just stayed in his apartment, minded his business, and let those guys nap it out, because they must have been very, very sleepy.
Yeah.
Then he'd be a free man today. He'd be a free man. He'd be in his apartment. He'd be doing lines of coke, and everything would be fine. Probably slapping on some Night Ranger, and that would be it.
Night Ranger?
Yeah, why not? Sister Christian.
Oh, yeah. I guess I wasn't even thinking that.
All right. Well, then, what's some other great coke songs?
Jesse's Girl.
Jesse's Girl from Rick Springfield,
like from Boogie Nights.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
That coke guy was doing that at the end.
Dude, big rails of coke right there on his coffee table.
Right.
And no one would be the wiser.
He was also doing Sister Christian then too, wasn't he?
I think he was doing Sister Christian too.
Yeah, Motor In. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do the Sister Christian thing with you.
He could be doing some serious Scarface stuff on the third floor, but no. Had to poke his nose in where it didn't belong.
East Longmeadow has canceled their popular fireworks display this 4th of July due to the ongoing construction project at the town's high school. And while the community has shared that they are upset with the town won't be having a fireworks display this year, the town's Rotary Club has a new plan for guests to experience. It used to be a very fun thing to do with my friends and family on the 4th of July, so not having that in town this year I think is a disappointing thing, said one East Longmeadow resident. East Longmeadow's 4th of July celebration will not include fireworks. This display is annually put on by the East Longmeadow Rotary Club and takes place at the town's high school. That's where they set them off.
They set them off at the fields in high school.
Due to the remodeling of the high school building, that space will no longer be available. East Longmeadow Rotary Club President Allison Donnelly has shared that they are working on creating an alternative form of entertainment for the community. Even though East Longmeadow was unable to host fireworks for the 2025 community, the Rotary Club still wanted to be able to provide something to the community to celebrate the 4th of July. She said that while it's disappointing that folks won't be able to see the fireworks, her organization offering another fun display for guests to enjoy. We are the first, if not one of the first, in the area to provide a laser light show. So that's something we're really proud of, and hopefully it's going to be a big hit.
Yeah, but how very 1979 of us.
A laser light show?
Sure.
What do you mean 1979? Isn't that like more of a more modern day thing?
Listen, I've seen my first laser light show in 1979.
Where?
Where did I see that? Where were we? It was a laser show. It was done to Led Zeppelin music. I want to say it was like in New York, and it was wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had them back then.
That could have been like 81, 80, somewhere around there.
They're much more elaborate now. Have you ever seen like Disney World where they got you can do the whole 3D image in the sky thing and
Yeah, as I heard this story yesterday, I was trying to think, isn't there some other wide open, expansive piece of property that you could do fireworks in East Longmeadow? And the only two that I thought of, people don't think I'm going to be crazy here, but there's that park behind by Heritage Park. There's that big opening where they have all the soccer fields.
Yeah, but that's still too close to trees.
Little tight, yeah, I agree. And the other one I thought can't do that either. Right next to American Saw. They had all those soccer fields, but they have now since put up all the solar panels on those fields. So now no soccer and no possibility of fireworks.
Well, see, I guess we have no open space here in town.
They cut their nose off in spite of their face.
Why don't we just do it right here in the parking lot?
Yeah,
we can do it right here in the 45 Fisher Avenue.
We'll grab some sparklers at the Costco, and then we'll be all set to go.
This year's laser light display will take place at Maple Shade Elementary School on July 3rd with a rain date of July 5th. So while you won't be getting your fireworks, you will be getting something as an alternative.
But you've been knowing about this for a long time. You knew you needed that new high school. You knew it was going to take time to build. Sometimes it's just a temporary disruption.
Well, I mean, at least they're offering something else.
Sure.
It's not like, and there's really nothing you can do about that with the fact that you're building the new high school. What are they doing with all the sports down there then? Do they still have athletic fields that they can use?
The athletic fields are still, like the football field is still in operation. So I think they'll be able to do like that weekly concert thing that they do at the high school. I just don't think they can have as many people as they would normally have in those fields, while they do all that construction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the right call, To be honest, I mean, it's the right thing to do. They made the right choice.
Well, what if we were experiencing the drought again, like we had during those summer months?
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't be able to have any fireworks displays.
They're carefully controlled.
Are they, though?
Although it would be kind of fun to, put the water cannons on the folks.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, come on, kids.
Yeah.
Get in front of the big fire hose.
Come on, it'll be fun.
That was like Weird Al on UHF, where you had the fire hose.
Yeah.
Where you sprayed the kid, and the kid shot across the room. That was fun.
That was the best part of the movie.
2 idiots in Nashville got arrested on Friday after they stopped to put air in their tires during a high-speed chase. A police officer noticed their license plate was obscured and tried to pull them over, but the guy driving didn't stop and sped off. He apparently thought he outran them and didn't realize a police helicopter was also following them. They saw him putting air in his tires after pulling into a gas station. Do you know what kind of work that takes? Unless the gas station is like a local gas station where they probably have air for you to use. You ever try to use an air machine at one of those gas stations? Those are the worst.
They're terrible.
Yeah, because you only have 5 minutes to fill all of your tires.
You got to grab a whole fistful of quarters.
And then you got to make sure that your car is parked properly so the hose reaches in all 4 different locations of the tire. Putting the dollar bills in. Some of them don't even take money anymore. You got to put the card up to the machine. The ones down at this Atlantis gas station.
The one across from La Fiorentina.
Right.
Yeah.
That one there. Those machines never work.
Really?
I've needed air a couple of times, and I've had to, I've tried. You put the money in, you don't get any money out.
Right.
And then you go in there, and the guy was just like, I think it's broken. And he give you the money back that you put into the machine.
How hard is it to get one of those fixed?
I don't know. Are people vandalizing these things so often?
Don't really know. I mean, it seems to me that's an important thing, and got to be somebody there that could figure that out.
Anyway, police showed up and arrested them both. They didn't share the info on the passenger, but the driver's name is Jonathan Chapa. He's not just in trouble for running. Officers smelled weed and found a large bag of pot in the center console. They also found a backpack with more pot, plastic baggies, and 2 digital scales. The driver admitted the weed was his, and he was also driving on a suspended license.
Ah, Jesus.
No word on exact charges they're each facing. Listen, again, Steve Nagle College of Criminal Knowledge, make sure your tire pressure is up to par before you even get on the road.
And maybe get an Uber.
Yeah. I smelled somebody on the way here this morning. Weed in the car.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it's 5 a.m.
Well, you
wake and bake before you get on the road.
The early bird catches the worm.
I just, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever felt the need to be doing it so early in the morning on the way to work.
There are some people
that
can't operate at any time of the day without a few drags.
Yeah.
Without a few hits. Without a few bong hits.
And it was on that section of Homestead Avenue where all the potholes are. That's not what that means.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And by the way, they fixed that a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's still like a minefield up there, the potholes up on Homestead.
Got to take time, Steve. Spring is
who's
spring
fixing
is here.
All that stuff?
Look at this.
I guess
Holyoke could get on it.
I know, but it's kind of like running through a gauntlet.
Listen, the DPW of that town is putting the hole in Holyoke.
Anyway, this guy's going to jail.
Can't say he doesn't deserve it.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast is going to be mostly sunny today and breezy with a high of 50. Tomorrow, mix of snow and rain with a high of 48. It is 42 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Ah, yeah.
Hey, babe.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:49, and the Rolling Stones of Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny today and breezy with a high of 50. I guess Dan Brown said the snow might come tomorrow night.
Oh,
I'm wrong about whatever. You know what? I'm not a weather forecaster, and I don't even know why we even do the weather.
Because people care about weather.
Do they really care
Sure
about
we do.
the weather?
Yeah, of course.
Who doesn't have it on their phone already? Everybody has a phone.
Well,
Everybody
Steve,
has
people
weather
have
updates.
music and information on their phones, and that if you were to make that argument, you could say there'd be no reason for us to exist.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what we're really providing for people than just to.
Well, everybody likes dick jokes.
It's true. Yeah, a fart joke is a
I'm
thing
just
that brings
talking
us
about
all
something
together.
you can immediately get. What do you need me to tell you? We don't do school closings anymore. That kind of went by the way of the dinosaur because of all these robocalls and all the other things that go out.
Yeah, if you don't know your school's closed, and then you're not paying attention because everyone's getting the call.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, what are you going to do? Let's see. We got a bunch of stuff that we're giving away this morning.
Yeah, let's wait, though, for a minute because I got something to talk about here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, I get a call from my kid's doctor's office, right?
Okay.
They just recently had gone to get physicals, right? And the lady at the building, she's a very nice lady. It has nothing to do with the doctor's office. But she said, hey, listen, I just want to let you know, your insurance company is not covering that. Those
a physical.
Those
for a
two
kid.
visits. And I said, okay. And it's like, you're talking like $1,000.
Is that what a physical costs?
Well, for two of them, $500
All right.
a piece,
Okay.
right? And I go, okay. And then she tells me they want you to call them to tell them and verify that you don't have any other health insurance coverage, right?
Okay.
I've dealt with this years ago before, too. And frankly, I didn't do it last year. I don't know why they keep doing this, like, sporadically. And
because everyone, people change their, make their selections every year.
And again, I'm not angry at the representative, so I thank them, and then I call the insurance company, and I obviously I'm not going to be like angry at the person answering the phone because they're just the person answering the phone, right? And and the lady on that end of the phone goes, yeah, we just want to verify that you don't have any other health insurance coverage. And I'm thinking to myself, what would it matter anyway if I did? Because they don't want to pay.
That's exactly it. If you've got other insurance, they would much rather have somebody else pay than they. Because the last thing an insurance company really wants to do is to pay for the stuff that you've been paying for.
But look at all the runaround that they give people to do that. How would you not know that I don't have other coverage?
Well, there's paperwork that you are normally required to file that says I have no other coverage.
But here's the deal, and again, I didn't express this to the person who was just answering processing the thing because it's not really her deal. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm paying $850 a month for this subpar health insurance that our company so greatly offers to us that clearly doesn't cover everything. Well, what did you always say? The great policy.
They cover everything but illness, injury, and
they cover
disease.
You all the way up until you get sick.
That's right.
Right.
If you're healthy, they're perfect. But once you have to make a claim,
I'm like, I'm paying $850 a month for this family plan on here. Who's got the money to buy another health insurance policy to cover that? Like, do they not look at that and go, "Oh, well, we"?
Well, what the argument could be is, let's say that you were to get married, to a nice lady who's got really good insurance, and she wants to keep her insurance, but you want to keep your insurance because of whatever. Well, they want to make sure that you are not covered by her plan.
I get that, but I'm
so
still
that's,
single.
So
I'm not.
Sure. But if they're asking if there's another plan, typically that's the scenario that makes them question.
Then why don't they call me instead of having the person at the pediatrician's office call and go, hey, by the way, they want to know if you've got a side hustle insurance going on.
Because to pay someone to call you,
that's not covered.
It's not
covered. Yeah, it's not. That's that. What kind of deductible that is to have. Pick up an AT&T long-distance phone call from Michigan where Blue Cross is.
They don't want to do that. That requires them to pay somebody.
Listen, you got to call us. We can't afford the charges on the other side of this phone call. So call us and give us your information.
Listen, all the money that we are extorting out of your paycheck doesn't mean that we got to cover everything.
The whole way healthcare is done in this country is the stupidest way I've ever seen anything be conducted.
Which is and the problem is, a lot of people will blame like the doctor or whatever, but the doctors they don't have it any easier than you do.
It's not the doctor's fault.
No, it's not the doctor's fault. In fact, the doctor will probably be the first one to tell you privately, I'm getting screwed by these companies.
Yeah. Oh, there was a guy online not too long ago who said he was, I don't remember how the scenario worked. I'll have to go back and look. But he got an ambulance bill. He must have taken an ambulance, and the bill was like, I don't know, like $800 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or $1,000, let's just say, for craps and giggles. He gets the bill for $1,000. He then gets, they say you can pay for this outright for like $600. And he goes, no, I'll just submit it to my insurance company. Well, he submits it to the insurance company, and then all of a sudden the price of the ambulance ride jumps up to $1,200.
Right.
Which was more than what the original. I'm not quoting it exactly of how it worked, but it was some sort of stupid shell game where it was cheaper to just pay for it outright than it was to have your insurance company cover it.
Because they would jack up the cost of the
it's
ride,
ridiculous.
And they would reduce the amount of reimbursement.
Why doesn't anybody take care of these things? Why doesn't anybody?
Because they're too powerful.
They're not. How powerful can they be?
Well, let's see. We've been talking about how healthcare is an absolute disaster for 30 years now, and it has not been fixed. It's gotten worse.
Well. Hey, at least I don't have any other coverage.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Hey, great comedy show coming to the Munich House on April 5th with some guy named Steve Nagle.
I don't know who that guy is.
Perhaps you've heard of him. Well, anyway, he gets around. He's kind of like the trailer trash of local comedy.
By the way, I have a $1,031 bill. I need you to come out to the comedy show this Saturday.
Tickets are available, I assume, at the Munich House or wherever Munich House sells tickets.
They're hotmicevents.com.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Hot Mice Vents.
I think it's Hot Mic Events, but it's Hot Mice Vents.
We have a pair of tickets to that show that can be yours. 10th caller, 293-1021. Good luck to you.
And it's just the show. You have to pay for dinner if you want that. This is just the comedy show.
There you go.
Yeah.
Still, you're at the Munich House.
I'm letting people know. It's not
know.
like a full ride here.
Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's Rock.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but it would be just great to get paid for what my employer thinks I'm going to do, rather than paid for what my employer thinks I have done. I think we can all agree, I really haven't done that much, and I plan to continue that path for many years to come. However, when it comes to dishing out contracts in Major League Baseball, you're sometimes called upon to suspend your rational judgment and pay a guy anyway. For example, look what the Red Sox did yesterday with starting pitcher Garrett Crochet. Yesterday, it was reported that Garrett Crochet has agreed to a 6-year, $170 million contract extension, the largest amount of money ever given to a player with just 4 years of Major League experience. $170 million for the next 6 years for a guy who has only pitched one regular season game in a Red Sox uniform. $170 million for a guy who has only thrown 224 innings in his professional career. That includes the 2 seasons he spent in the bullpen with the Chicago White Sox. It's $170 million for a guy who sat out an entire season to recover from Tommy John surgery, and yet it's being seen as a heck of a deal. I'll say this would be like getting a raise at a real job despite maxing out your sick time, showing up late, taking too many personal days, taking 15 coffee breaks a day, and stealing office supplies, and you get the increase because your boss thinks you're going to be productive. Listen, I'm not saying that Garrett Crochet isn't worth the money. I'm just saying he must have one hell of an agent. The good news is that this money doesn't start kicking in until next season, and there's an opt-out provision after 4 years. So if the guy sucks, there's always a way to get out of it. Having said all this, if my employer would like to retool my contract to reflect a similar mindset by greatly rewarding me for things that I'm not likely to ever do, then I'd be more than willing to sit down and talk a little business. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Steel, the orange and white workhorse. Get spring steel deals right now at Rocky's. Save $30 on a string trimmer, get a steel backpack blower, steel chainsaw, and there's a certified steel technician at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock
102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:10 and Van Halen with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be sunny. I'm just going to give today's weather. Sunny and breezy with a high of 50. I don't know what happens after tomorrow. Dan Brown has all of those details. And, I think that should be satisfactory enough. I'm not a meteorologist.
No, you're not. Remember last week when I was telling you that I was at the 90 Wine Supper Club thing and I ran into Angelo Pupolo?
Yes.
State Representative Angelo Pupolo. And he had just finished being on TV talking about the Eastfield Mall location.
Yeah, he was talking about getting the Jersey Mike's in there.
Right.
Hey,
Springfield Crossing.
Buffalo.
Now, when I talked to him, he said, and I'm probably not saying anything that he wouldn't say publicly. He said, the moment I said I wanted a Jersey Mike's, I got every pizza guy in town all angry at me because of their grinders.
Bing, boo, bah.
Actually, he doesn't really even talk like that, but nevertheless. 22 News did a story yesterday, and the many stores confirmed at Springfield Crossing as construction continues. And they decided to do one of these great man-in-the-street type of stories where they ask people, everyday Springfield area residents, what they would like at the Springfield Crossing. Now, the reason why this is important is apart from MGM, it's one of the biggest development project Springfield's had in a long, long time. 65 to 85 million bucks is what this the project is going to cost, and they've already gotten they've gotten BJ's, Chipotle, and Chick-fil-A to confirm that they're going to move in, and there's some that are saying PetSmart, Hobby Lobby, and Skechers.
Ooh, Skechers. Can't get enough of those shoes.
Not enough places to buy shoes on Boston Road. I've always said that.
Who doesn't want a pair of douchey-looking sneakers and a flat-brimmed hat and a vape pen to go along with it? If they just had all three of those stores in there, like a Lids, a Skechers, and a vape shop, we all of our problems in Springfield would be solved.
To me, it regenerates the entire city.
Yes, it does.
To have that kind of look. More vape shops, more places for, like a baseball hat. With the tag still on it.
Yeah.
And Skechers. That's all this town needs. Now they went to again. They did the whole. They only talked to two people, which is kind of surprising. If you're gonna do like a man on the street type of thing, find a street where there's more than just two people. One woman who was from Agawam, this woman Andrea, said, "I'd like a Red Rose Pizza to go there." Red Rose Pizza doesn't need to go anywhere. And the last thing they need to do is expand.
Well, I mean,
they've already got two fully functioning kitchens in that building.
That's not, I wouldn't count that out. I mean, look at the Frank Pepe's down in New Haven. How many Frank Pepe locations are there now, other than the one that was originally on Worcester Street down in New Haven?
Yeah.
Now you got, 7, 8 locations that you can choose from?
And there's a lot of those Pepe's locations that are showing up in Massachusetts. I say,
why don't you do a Red Rose Express? Because just do pizzas. Just pizza.
Because Red Rose doesn't need to. Red Rose doesn't need to do anything Red Rose doesn't want to do.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe it might be a good business suggestion. If they're obviously a popular restaurant. They knew they were a popular restaurant. That's why they didn't move out of that location. But what if you expanded? You don't think people on that side of Springfield, over near the Indian Orchard area, want Red Rose Pizza but don't want to have to drive through the traffic to get to downtown?
Well, let me just make this suggestion. If you want a good pizza that's on Boston Road, might I suggest my friends at Tony's up on Boston Road? They make good pie.
Look at you name dropping some businesses.
I'm not name dropping. I'm just saying, there are other places to get pizza in town. You don't necessarily have to have Red Rose overextend themselves to make people on Boston Road happy. There are plenty of people who live around the Boston Road area, 16 acres, Pine Point, Wilbraham, that will take the ride over to get to Red Rose because it's so damn delicious.
What about
and that salad is so good.
Where
too.
is Tony's, by the way?
On Boston Road, heading the opposite direction.
What does that mean?
Let's say
goes in two directions. Which opposite direction of what?
Let's just say that it's well past.
What's near it? What is
near
it?
it? There's a bunch of other businesses near it. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything.
How do you not know this,
dude? I don't. It's past. I'm trying to think what other businesses are there. Oh, it's right next to Salemi's.
Oh, the appliance place.
The appliance place.
Oh, so it's like
right
further down, like
it's way down.
Almost by State Street, where it merges into State Street, kind of thing.
That would be a good way of putting it.
Why didn't you just say that?
Because I'm an idiot, and I'm telling you, and I shouldn't have to remind you of that.
Go see my buddy Tony. I don't even know where his place is.
Listen, that's a perfectly good place to go. And they make great pie, and everything is
Actually,
delicious.
There's a Jamaican place that's nearby there.
That's across
pretty
the
good.
street. Yes.
That's pretty good too.
I haven't been there.
Yeah, that's really good.
To be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
The other person on the street said, "I'd like to see more niche stores like Miniso." That's also in the Holyoke Mall, or a Daiso. Miniso is a Chinese company. Daiso is a Japanese-owned company. Both stores are up and coming in the U.S. and offer a range of products for the youth and when it comes to pop culture. It's also been a speculation that Target is coming, but that has not yet been confirmed that Target is going to be there.
I think we need either a Chi-Chi's or a steak and ale or a beefsteak Charlie's, something that hasn't been around for a long, long time.
I would say, how about an Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips?
Kenny Rogers Roasters. I got the sign they can use.
It's the wood that makes it good.
It is. It absolutely is. Bad chicken. Mess you up.
How about a what was that, a Famous Dave's Barbecue? Or a Smoky Bones? Haven't been one over there in a long time.
Which is all owned by Red Lobster.
Which is weird, isn't it?
Well, it's a restaurant group. There's like Olive Garden. I think Olive Garden and Smoky Bones were the same company.
I don't know about that. I think Smoky Bones, if I'm not mistaken, was owned by Dr. J, or he was part owner.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe. Mini Pearl's Fried Chicken.
That'd be good.
Geno's.
Papa
Gino's.
Papa Gino's?
Yeah, we already had one. That was seemingly successful there. Is it still there? It's not still there, is it?
No, it's something else now.
Business.
I think it's a different kind of business.
You know what I was surprised to see still open?
What?
That Peter Harris clothing store.
It gets good business, believe it or not. A lot of people go there.
So I'm just surprised with all the other stores that like you got Kohl's closings and things like that. A store like that would still be afloat.
You know what Boston Road could really use? And I've been thinking about this for a while now. Follow me on this.
Yeah.
Has anyone at all considered Boston Road as a good location for a Friendly's?
Maybe. There's always... Yeah, but the wait time to get one of those built.
No, I get that. I mean, they're expecting this thing to open up sometime next year. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, it would be a while.
What about a Hilltop Steakhouse?
That would be good. Or a Valley Steakhouse.
Valley Steakhouse?
What about a Ponderosa? There's no Ponderosa. When was the last time you've been to a good Ponderosa?
Florida. Orlando, Florida, about 15 years ago.
Man, I used to love the Ponderosa. Yeah, to me, I've always enjoyed steak served cafeteria style.
I miss Old Country Buffet. That was a good place.
That was a good slop house.
And now it's an Asian restaurant. What is it?
It was the hometown buffet for a while, but then it did change. It did change. The one in West Springfield.
Yeah, Nipple Grill. That's what it is.
Nippon,
not
whatever. Nipple.
I say Nipple Grill. It's
I know you
Nipple
do.
Grill.
But that's not how you. That's not
Remember
how it's pronounced.
Foodie Goody? Remember that one?
I do.
That's someplace. That's another name of that place now.
I had a friend of mine who was no longer with us take me out to Footy Goody, and he said, "Oh, Dude, it's the best. Footy Goody is the best Chinese food in the entire
This is
area.
why he's no longer with us. He had too much Footy Goody.
I'm sure it didn't help. But me and this guy went out to Footy Goody, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. For whatever reason, it's not good today."
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know how I missed it. The one time at Footy Goody was not a pleasant experience for either one of us.
Yeah, we definitely need a Dunkin' Donuts. Definitely needs to go in there. We don't have enough of them.
Has someone thought about Planet Fitness? Planet Fitness in that neighborhood would work out pretty well.
Planet Fatness is what Barry Krieger calls it.
Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
I'm planning on fitness pizza in my mouth.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, listen. That's always great marketing. They used to do that. There was a Weight Watchers over in 16 Acres, right behind the Burger King, which is now a wings place.
Yeah, it's now the wings over Springfield.
But that was, I'm like, this is like expert marketing.
Well,
here.
you're absolutely right, because the Weight Watchers in West Springfield
was next to
the
that
Old Country Buffet.
Old Country Buffet. Yeah, right.
And I got to tell you, I went to that one for a while.
Yeah.
At Weight Watchers, and every time I always tried to go as early as possible before the Old Country Buffet would open, because I knew myself, and I knew I'm the kind of guy that could very easily leave a Weight Watchers location and do a quick turn right into the front door of the Old Country Buffet.
You imagine that you did that once in your life.
Yeah.
Your eating habits were so bad you had to go to meetings about it. Are you on step 9? Yeah, it's 9 steps from here to that front of that Old Country Buffet over there.
It's some unlimited soft serving dinner rolls.
You're like sitting there, they're talking about points, and you're like, well, wait a minute. How many dollops of mashed potatoes over there at that hometown buffet could I fit in my mouth?
How many points is this pasta buffet?
Yeah, a support group. You had a food support group.
Yeah,
a lot of people have to do that. Because it's like another addiction. Food is another addiction.
There was
I should have probably gone to a couple of
I know.
Yeah.
Years ago, remember Nutrisystem?
Yeah.
So Nutrisystem was doing things with like radio people, so they would you'd eat their food, and back then the food was not good. But you'd go every week. You go to your meeting. You get the whole big bag of like 2 big bags of food. You bring it home, and that was all you could eat was the prepackaged food.
Ugh.
The problem with that is, and I lost a good amount of weight. It did work, but after a while, I hit this major plateau. And just like you say, there was like a McDonald's or like a Popeye's chicken right next to it.
That's what I'm talking about.
So this is what I would do. I don't think I've ever told this story before. I would walk out with the 2 giant bags of Nutrisystem food.
Yeah.
I'd pop them in the trunk of my car, and I would go to the Popeyes.
Yeah.
I would pound down about like 9 pounds of fried chicken and those delicious biscuits.
Yeah, because we're both big guys addicted to food, and that's exactly what we're going to do. It's like having a liquor store next to an AA meeting. Listen, there was a guy down in Springfield years ago who was arrested outside of the methadone clinic for selling heroin. And everybody was like, I can't believe a guy would sell heroin outside of a methadone clinic. I can.
This is location.
Why do you think Burger King's outside of the Weight Watchers or the Home Country Buffet? These are marketing geniuses. They're not stupid.
They're not breaking laws. They're setting new rules of marketing.
Yeah, this heroin dealer's like, these are my best customers.
It's 8:23 at Rock 102.
Hi, it's Hank from Tudor House Liquors.
It's 8:25 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
See, this is your problem. You brought in this coffee grinder, and now I'm making super jet fuel over here.
Dude, this is like almost combustible.
It's delicious, though.
It's very rich coffee, but I got to tell you, it's like it's almost chewable.
It's good though. I like it like that.
Yeah.
I like a good tar for coffee.
There's guys who are making espresso right now and say, "Whoa,
hey,
slow down on the grounds."
We're just talking about addictions here. There's nothing I have done in my life that hasn't involved excess of anything, whether it be food or booze or weed or whatever. Here I am now. Now this is my vice. This is the coffee. I make it as thick like a milkshake from Five Guys.
I still say this is the best thing we've ever done. Yeah, in 30 years, the best addition to this studio
why
is a coffee maker.
Why would we have never had one here?
I don't know.
For years, we were being abused by that Keurig machine upstairs.
And it hasn't gotten any better. And it keeps, every time I've made a cup of coffee there, it tastes like someone, like it was made like one of them, those Howe caverns with the limestone coming down. It's like that's all the sediment you taste.
It's like going
Disgusting.
back to like a woman going back to a guy who thinks he's going to change.
Yeah,
keep going to get that Keurig machine.
He's never going to change.
No, he'll do better next time, and it's still the same old, tasteless abuse.
Horrible. Hey, Pink Floyd at Pompeii is coming to movie theaters all across the country and IMAX worldwide for limited screenings, which begin on April 24th. The 1972 film has now been remastered in 4K, enhanced audio, all those iconic songs, incredible visuals. You've probably seen film clips of this show over the years. Listen to Pat Kelly all week for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the movie in IMAX from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
All right.
Okay?
Looks good to me.
We got news coming up next to Rock 102.
Here's your Western Mass news.
Just about 8:30 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A man in Granby was arrested on several charges, including threatening to commit murder. Following an incident on Saturday, Northwestern DA spokesperson Lori Loisel said that on Saturday, 43-year-old Matthew Tarzinski allegedly threatened two individuals napping in a car in the parking lot of his apartment complex on New Ludlow Road. Tarzinski allegedly brandished what appeared to be a gun at the victims and called one of them a racial slur. The victims in the vehicle proceeded to call 911, then go to the police station, showing officers a video on their cell phone that was taken during the incident. Tarzinski was then arrested, and police later executed a search warrant for his apartment. Officers found drugs and 2 BB pistols. He was charged with 2 counts of threatening to commit murder and assault to intimidate, 1 count of assault to intimidate, trafficking of cocaine, and possession of a Class C drug with intent to distribute.
Now, I want everybody to sit here and try to map this out if you can. All right, so here's a guy. Comes out of his apartment, okay? He runs downstairs, runs into the parking lot, and starts yelling at a car, got 2 guys asleep. Mm-hmm. And then rather than just, mind his own business, he says, "Hey, you two of a different culture, move on or I'm going to kill you." Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine you're just taking a nap in a parking lot, innocently taking a nap, and this guy starts screaming at you, waking you up out of a nap. What do? You just sit there and take it? No. These 2 guys did the right thing. They called the local constabulary, and that's what happened. Yeah. Only to find out this guy's as high as the bejesus.
But those are my drugs. You can't take those away from me. They were watching me in my parking lot.
What I do in the parking lot should have no bearing on how much coke I'm doing upstairs.
The police, the Ware Police.
Ware Police?
Their police are looking for the public's help to identify 2 suspects who allegedly vandalized Grenville Park on Sunday. The Ware Police.
Where police?
Their police department posted photos of the individuals who say they caused extensive vandalism to Grenville Park. Where police?
Where police?
Their police say that around 7:45 p.m., the 2 pictured on their Facebook page overturned multiple Sani cans, destroyed various park signs, and upset the tranquil serenity of the park. If you can identify these hoodlums or have any information, you're asked to call the Ware Police.
Where police?
Their police at 413-967-3571, extension 0.
Now, I have to ask, this is in Ware, correct?
Where?
There.
There.
Do these hoodlums have any idea who runs that town?
I don't think they do.
Do they have any idea who the number 1 park and recreation tenant is in the town of Ware? It's the Hawkman.
Yeah.
If the Hawkman were to find out that you were defacing any part of the park and recreation system, including the rail trail, he would run over your toes with that wheelchair.
I'll tell you what, more than that.
I'll
He'd
tell you
run
what,
you over.
He would have his mom beat the living crap out of you, and I think she could do it. Pound you with her purse.
I don't even think he'd need his mom. I think the Hawkman's very capable of running somebody over with that wheelchair.
Maybe. I'm just saying
that
you don't want to cross him because This is exactly the kind of disrespect that the people who wear, they don't need. They can't stomach that kind of thing.
These are obviously youngsters by the looks of the pictures. That one kid's got a, do you even vandalize, bro? Look on his face. Yeah. This is going to be so awesome. Let's tip the Sandy can over and then write stuff and spray paint on the front of it.
Let's write like a big profanity on a wall with this can of paint.
What do you say, babe? Because it's a chick.
Oh, it's
probably his girlfriend.
It's a male and female?
Well, I'm going to say it's his girlfriend until I'm proven otherwise.
Well, then
he was probably trying to impress her.
Listen, take our advice. That is no way to impress a lady.
Watch me knock over this Santa can and then destroy some other things in the park.
Oh, my dream boat.
Oh, you're so dreamy.
And now they're like scrambling because everybody's seen their faces now.
Yeah.
And then they're like calling each other.
There are other
ways. They're eventually going to get caught.
Of course there are.
Yeah.
And, there are other ways to make out with a chick.
It's like, yeah, there's other ways to impress a girl. Perhaps flowers or candy.
Yeah, maybe a poem that's been self-written.
Yeah, not a stink bomb of a Santa can being tipped over in the lovely town of Ware.
Yeah, not you knock down a whole bunch of Fireball nip bottles and then all of a sudden you're causing problems in Ware.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it ain't going to happen.
I did a video yesterday on the East Longmeadow bike trail with all the nip bottles scattered. Now, this is, of course, the unpaved version. But I pointed out there was an upside-down Bud Light can bobbing in the water. And I said, that's East Longmeadow's version of the upside-down pineapple. There's a swingers party going on in this neck of the woods. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you believe Karen Reed should have to prove her innocence? Do you believe law enforcement officers are generally fair and accurate in their investigations? Have you already started to make up your mind about this case? These are just a few of the questions of more than 100 potential jurors will be asked today as jury selection in Karen Reed's second trial begin, a process that will almost certainly take several weeks given the intense publicity surrounding the case. 45-year-old Reed is charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating under the influence and leaving the scene of an accident causing injury or death in connection with the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Prosecutors say Reed intentionally backed her SUV into O'Keefe in a drunken rage amid turmoil in their relationship, then left him to die in the snow outside the Canton home of a fellow Boston police officer. But Reed's defense has claimed O'Keefe was beaten up inside the house. His body was planted outside in an effort to frame Reed. In all, 275 potential jurors were summoned to Norfolk Superior Court for each day for the first week of jury selection, April 1st through 4th. Oh, it's kind of like when the Shriner Circus comes to town. Coming April 1st through 4th, it's jury selection for the Karen Reed trial.
We talked about this earlier about you talk about the fact that she's changed her stories a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, the more I think this is true. Alcohol is the thing that changed the story. It's not that the story was different, but the level of drunkenness was different from when it happened.
She's piecing together the pieces of the night. They all are. All of them. All of them were drunk. All of them.
How many of us have had one of those nights when we might have been slightly overserved?
Yeah.
Where putting together the entire story is like putting together a jigsaw puzzle with like 15 missing pieces.
Yeah.
That blackout, which she never has, is the kind of thing it's impossible to put together.
I don't buy that. I never have a blackout. I never black out.
Sure you don't.
I can hold my liquor. Look how many drinks I had within a 2 hours time span.
I had 9 vodkas. I should have been able to have my wits about me without blacking out.
I blacked out in college once. And I got up to use the bathroom at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. I like passed out in a chair in my room. And I got up and I went to the bathroom. It was, the community shared bathroom in the hall.
Right.
And then I go back into my room and somebody is in my bed. And I'm like, get out of my bed. Get out of my bed.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I hear, this is my room. I was in the wrong room.
Wow.
I'm like, oops, and I get up and I walk, I like disoriented, find myself back to the thing. Now, again, I don't remember this until I was piecing it together later on.
Right.
When I'm waking up later in the morning and I'm talking to my roommate and I'm like, dude, I think I was in somebody's room last night. And I don't know who. I have no idea. And it scares the crap out of you because you're like, what happened? What did I do?
Yeah, but you did. But again, because it's a blackout, you had no recollection of it happening. You had no understanding that it happened at all, and you were too drunk to notice that you were losing massive amounts of time.
Right, and then all of a sudden, this went on all day. It was one of those things where I'm like, I'm mortified because I'm like, I can't believe that I did that. Right. I know that it happened. I just don't know all of the details, and I don't know, what went on. And sure enough, later on that night, I'm speaking the story again out loud, and all of our doors are open.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, this kid walks up, and he has these shorts in his hand, and he goes, I believe these are yours. I had taken my shorts off. Now, granted, I had underwear on underneath. I had taken my shorts off in the room. I thought it was my room.
Right.
And it was pretty embarrassing.
I bet it was.
To have that realization. But again, like that's, when she's retelling this story about what happened that night, I don't think she completely remembers of how things went down, especially seeing video of how much she drank beforehand. Now, that doesn't mean she's guilty.
No.
I get that.
And you also have to consider that there have been no real... The video has not analyzed how much everybody else was drinking.
Right.
So, and everybody in that house... the ones that deny that they had anything to do with it, the ones that are all, I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know how loaded up
everybody else was and
right.
how accurate their story or their version is of the whole thing.
Remember, they went to 2 bars and then an after bar party at the house.
And they were all hitting it heavy. Like you just said, they were focused on what she was pouring into her drink.
Right.
Because she's obviously the subject of this thing.
And they're all telling a story in which they're not remembering many of the details either because they were too drunk to know for sure what was happening.
I like this guy in the Route 10 Tire listener line. Who hasn't pissed in a closet maybe once or twice? I told you about my dad doing it in the dishwasher, my brother and I catching him. There was a door separating the family room from the kitchen, and on the other side of the door was where the dishwasher was. And all of a sudden, we heard this stumbling get up. It's like 11 o'clock at night on a weekend.
Yeah.
I'm probably 14, 15 years old. My brother's in his 20s. And we hear the door of the dishwasher drop, and then we hear trickling.
Right.
And then we open the door, and there's my dad just unhosing.
And I'm sure your dad had no recollection of that ever happening.
No, and that's what I'm saying. You can't piece together an entire night if you were that drunk. And for you to be so adamant that you were, obviously she's trying to defend herself because she's on trial for murder. I mean, you're going to have to come up with some solid story. But if you watch all of those things, her story changed 2 or 3 times.
Well, of course it did.
Yeah,
she was drunk. Anyone telling a drunk story, like, oh, what I did, what you do last night? Oh, I got loaded. Let me tell you what I did. And all the information is wrong.
And I know we keep repeating ourselves, but you're right about the other people in the house. How drunk were they? How much do they remember? How much
they were every bit as drunk as she was, if not more so. Because even if you believe for a second that she was taking, not drinking all the drinks that she was given or bought or whatever and mixing them or whatever excuse she's making, which I don't even believe that either. None of us know how much anybody else was having either. So I don't believe anybody's recollection in this story.
Here's a guy that says, I woke up buck naked in a room covered only in a poster that I had ripped off of somebody's wall before I passed out. It happens.
Of course it does.
It happens. Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of this.
The thing is, Steve, that really should be the bottom of this whole story.
Right, of how drunk everybody was.
Yeah, because
how can anybody have any clear recollection of what happened that night with the amount of alcohol that was being consumed.
So there should be reasonable doubt just based on the flimsy eyewitness testimony of everybody that was there that night.
Yeah.
You can't believe anything that anyone has said. And they say, they changed their story. Have you ever tried to tell a story when you're drunk? Pretty sure of it.
Try to piece together the night from before?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that's right. You did jump up on the table and spin your thing around in front of everybody.
You did show your penis to the police officers that night.
Yeah. This is so exhausting.
It is, man. I'm so glad the show is nearly over.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be sunny with a high of 50, and that's all I'm going to tell you. Dan Brown can tell you the rest because he's a better storyteller than I am. It's 41 in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:49 and Everclear with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny and 50 today. It's 44 in downtown Springfield.
Real quick, Banksy's musical podcast this week. My guest is Eve Barzelay, the singer and songwriter for the band Clem Snide. Originally started in Boston. They've moved around a lot. They've just released their 10th album called Oh Smokey. Actually, I take that back. That's coming out in May, early May. And they'll also be at the Warehouse in Somerville on April 10th and at the Con Artists in Southbury, Connecticut on the 11th. An amazing songwriter, really great stuff. And you can hear that interview right now on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the Rock 102 app. And you can not only listen to that one, but over 250 other episodes of great stuff. So make sure you stop and listen to it because it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
If I do say so myself.
Sounds pretty damn
good. Got some
good.
great stuff on the way the next couple of months, too.
Do you?
Actually, I do. Actually, I really do.
Like what?
Well, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I've got some, let me see. Let me get my schedule out here. I got, remember the Butthole Surfers?
Yes.
Remember them?
I don't mind the sun sometimes,
the
the image it shows. I can taste you on my lips and smell you in my clothes. Cinnamon and sugary and softly spoken lies. You never know just how to look through other people's eyes.
I'll be talking to guitarist Paul.
I got that whole thing down. I didn't have to look at the lyrics.
That was a big hit. Anyway, guitarist Paul Leary will be my guest in a couple of weeks. They've just a documentary about the Butthole Surfers played at South by Southwest. It's awesome, and it's one of the most unusual, dangerous bands ever. And had a good conversation with him yesterday. So that interview will be up in a couple of weeks. And he not only was part of the Butthole Surfers, he also has produced and engineered like a bunch of music too, like the Meat Puppets, Sublime, U2, Flaming Lips. Guy's been very, very successful, and so it's a real cool interview that's coming up very, very soon.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's actually really, really cool.
Marky got Sharon, Sharon got Cherise. She was Sharon, Sharon's outlook on the topic of the disease. I love that song.
Yeah.
They also had that whole album was actually pretty decent.
Electric Larryland.
Yes, I have a copy of that.
Do you really?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So Paul Leary is going to be on.
But it was almost like it was kind of like there was always those spoken word albums of the '90s where they did those songs where they were like spoken. Coolio did that back in the mid '90s when he took Kool and the Gang's "Too Hot."
Yes,
and he was talking about, but he changed it to like a thing about AIDS.
Yes.
Make sure you're wrapping it up because it's too damn hot.
They did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming up. That's a real good one. And also Alison Moyet from the band Yazoo. I don't know if you remember Alison, that band. They did
Yaz.
Yaz. They went by Yaz.
Upstairs at Eric's.
Yes.
I have that album.
You do?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Alison Moyet.
I think you don't know enough about me. I think because I talk too much about poppy stuff. I have all of these albums.
Alison Moyet has sold like 25, 30 million albums over the course of her career, mostly in Europe, where she's much bigger than here in the States. She's only doing 10 interviews in North America, and I'm one of them. So,
really?
Yeah, and that one has been recorded. and it's phenomenal. So that's something else to look forward to.
I also have Andy Bell.
From Erasure.
Yes.
Yeah, how about
Erasure,
that?
Yeah.
Well, the guy, the Vince Clarke from Yaz was also in Erasure, was also in Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Mr. Aaron Abernathy?
From?
Do you not know who Aaron Abernathy is?
Not off the top of my head.
I don't either. I was just throwing that out there.
They're just making stuff up.
He had the Hope song. You remember the Hope song?
Yeah, I do.
He's a pianist.
Yes. That's what everyone tells him.
Yeah. Do we have something to...
We do have something, Steve, and I'm just stalling for time because that's what we do. The Brimfield Brewfest is coming to the New England Motel in Brimfield on April 12th from noon to 4. It's like 40 different breweries going to be a part of this. It's going to be a big event, and we have a pair of tickets to give away. You got to be over 21 because it is, after all, a Brewfest in Brimfield. 10th caller right now at 293-1021 will get a chance to go to the Brimfield Brewfest.
Unless you take your kids and have them sit in the parking lot and you can have them drive you home later on.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that if
I'm
you
not
can help it.
Listen, out of sight, out of mind.
Oh,
if nobody knows it's happening, does it even happen?
Well, if you count all their ages and it equals 21 years old, I suppose that's almost...
Well, yeah, remember we used to have that boss here that used to combine all of our years of experience. So, Bax has 30 years here at Rock 102. I have 20. Combined, we have 50 years of radio experience. Which you'd think we'd be a hell of a lot better if we did.
Well, at the time, the boss was like, there's over 150 years of broadcast experience. Yeah, we were all there when Marconi invented the radio.
That guy was such a noob.
Well, what are you going to do? 293-1021, the Brimfield Brewfest. Good luck on Rock 102.